Welcome back to Silver in the Big Sky. Got a little something different tonight. So what I wanted to do, we have done our last quarter hunt for the year. So on the board here, I've got all of our W's that we found this year and all of our not intended for circulation San Francisco mints that we found this year. I've really just been wanting to know which ones were missing out of these San Francisco mints. Of course, if you follow the channel, you know we're missing the tall grass prairie and the W's here. But I kind of wanted to, one, inventory this stuff. Two, find out what I was missing and have a list here. And then kind of tally up our numbers for the year. And then we'll be moving on. Our next quarter hunt will be, hey, we found nothing this year because we're going to be in the new year. So this year we ended up doing 44 bags, which is the equivalent of 88 boxes and 25 boxes. So if you combine that, 113 boxes. So pretty cool. Again, not, no coin hunt here tonight. Just something I was doing for myself. Thought maybe some of you might find it interesting. Again, especially in these not intended for circulation San Francisco mints, because I believe there's 46 different versions of this from 2012 through 2020. There's 5 each year. And then in 2021, there's 1 of them. We found one in our last hunt, and I believe it was our second one of those for the year. So I might just tally up our W's on the side, and then maybe I'll do the overhead, and I'll do something with these San Francisco mints so you guys can see, and then I'll make a list, and we'll be moving on to next year. Our next quarter hunt will be in 2026. Crazy, what a year it's been. We're excited to keep going and keep growing, and appreciate you. I'll be back in a minute. All right, I started with the W's, and I've got the 2019s laid out. So these are stacks of 5, so that's 5, 10, 13 of the San Antonio missions, if you're familiar with that one. 10 of the War in the Pacific. I think it was 1, 2, 3. So 8 of the River of No Return. Just 4 of the American Memorial Park. Don't see that one a whole lot. I think we just found one of those in our last hunt. And then 1 of the Lowell. Man, we just don't even see that coin a whole lot. And if you're new to quarters, that's what that W looks like. The 2019s do not have a Purvey mark over there. W for West Point. Cool finds. I'll stack up the 20s. And here is those 2020s. You might say, well, there's only 1, 2, 3, 4 different kinds here. That's because we still are missing one. It's been insane. But yeah, see here, if you've watched our hunts, you've heard me groan when we flip. So we will flip the 2020s hoping we find that tall grass prairie. And I groan when I find this one. Well, it's because we have 17 of them. Our most common W mint quarter. Still great to find. The Weir Farm, we have 10 of them. Those are a cool one. The MBR, or Marsh Billings Rockefeller, that's 5, 6, 7. And then the National Park, or we call it the Bat Quarter, we have 5 of them. And this is what I was talking about with the Purvey mark. The 2020s will have that Purvey mark over there. Always cool to see that W. Man, the one just eludes us. The tall grass prairie. Crazy. All right. So that is a wrap there. Maybe I'll come back with a little wrap up on the year on what we had. So in counting them up, I got to 75 W's total on the year. I know at some point I kind of went away from tracking and then I went back to it. So we must have missed a couple of in the tally there because on here I've got 73. So we ended up 75 W's. We probably did an extra box or bag or 2 in there, but 44 bags, 25 boxes, equivalent of 113 boxes. Kind of cool to have 75 W and 113 boxes equivalent. That's a heck of an average. Let's check out these San Francisco mints. All right, I've got the first 5 years of these laid out of the not intended for circulation San Francisco mints. If you don't know what I'm talking about, that's what they look like. So they'll be not a proof, if you know the difference of a proof So they're just not intended for circulation. And we've just found all these naturally. And again, to my surprise, so 2012, 13, 14, 15, 16, we've got all 5 of them. And that's a little bright there. But yeah, we've got all 5. So got the Acadia, I think 5 of them, 5 of the Chaco culture, 4 of the Denali, 1 of the Hawaii volcanoes, and 1 of the, that's probably the hardest word to pronounce on all this, El Yunque, from Puerto Rico there. So we have all 5 of them, and that's in 2012. 2013, we've got 6 of the White Mountain, few of the Great Basin there, 3 of the Great Basin, 3 of the Fort McHenry, 1 of the Perry's Victory, 1 of the Mount Rushmore. 2014, we have 6 of the Great Sand Dunes, Everglades, 3 of the Everglades, 3 of the Arches, 1 of the Great Smoky Mountains, and 1 of the Shenandoah. 2015, we have 5 of the Kisatchie, 5 of the Bombay Hook. Looks like, what is that, 3 of the Saratoga, 3 of the Blue Ridge Parkway, and just 1 of the Homestead. And then 2016, we had 6 of the Harper's Ferry. Looks like 5 of the Theodore Roosevelt, 5 of the Cumberland Gap, 4 of the Fort Moultrie, and 3 of the Shawnee. We have 3 complete sets of the 2016. All right, I'm not expecting to have all of the later years, but I'll lay those out now. All right, I've got the next 5 years laid out, and we are missing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we're missing 7 different versions. So in 2017, we've got, and this was all from this year, just from coin hunting. So we've got 3 of the George Rogers Clark. Looks like 2 of the Ellis Island and 1 of the Effigy Mounds. And then I've got my book here for what we're missing. So we're missing that Frederick Douglass National Historic Site, and we're missing the Ozark National Scenic Riverways. So that one and that one. And then in 18, we've got a couple, 2 of the Apostle Islands. We've got 2 of the Cumberland, that is 2. 2 of the Cumberland Island and 1 of the Pictured Rocks. So in 2018, got Pictured Rocks, Cumberland Island, Apostle Islands. Was that on there? Yeah, we had 2 of those. So we're missing the Block Island and the Voyagers. Okay, making our list so we can check it twice next year, and hopefully we can collect all these. So once we get to 2019, these are going to look familiar because this was the same year as the W quarters. So we've got 3 of the San Antonio Missions, 3 of the River of No Return, 1 of the American Memorial Park, and 1 of the Lowell, which is exactly how many of the W's we have of the Lowell. So we are missing the War in the Pacific. And then in 2020, we've got 3 of the Weir Farm, 2 of the MBR, Marsh Billings Rockefellers, only 1 of the Salt River Bays. That's crazy. We've got, I think it was 17 or something of the W's of that quarter, and only 1 of the San Francisco Mints. Very interesting. And so the 2 we're missing, of course, the Tallgrass Prairie, and then the National Park, or the Bat Quarter. So there's the War in the Pacific that we're missing on the San Francisco. And we're missing the Tallgrass Prairie and the National Park up there, the back quarter. And then we've got 2 of the 2021 Tuskegee Airmen. Only one, only San Francisco Mint that year. So we're missing 7 of the 46 in just, what, 3/4 of a year coin roll hunting. Let me put these back away, and then I'll do a little wrap up with the numbers on how many of these we found on the year. All right, so the total of those San Francisco mints was 112. You see here we had 108 logged. So again, there just must have been a couple of hunts. Maybe we did a couple boxes or another bag or 2 that I didn't track, but pretty cool. 112 San Francisco mints on the year. What did I say for the West Point mints? I think it was 75? 75. So 75 W and 112 San Francisco. We're on to 2026. That's the last quarter hunt of 2025. Hopefully, we can improve on those numbers and fill in that collection. Pull those 7 different San Francisco mints that we're missing and the 1 West Point. Awesome. Well, I know this wasn't a hunt, but look forward to seeing you in the next hunt. Appreciate you. If you got 10 seconds of time, please like, comment, and share. Look forward to seeing you on the next hunt.